Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And as you can see from the title of this video, I will be giving my commentary on Lexi's Chapter 6 video, where she reflected on her interview with blogger Giving You the Real Tea. And including in her commentary was her reminiscing on some content made by True Tea. Now, before we get into it all, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. And know that everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. All right, so Lexi talked about, her interviewing with Terrence because her mom gave her a list of content creators for her to choose from. And she said that, she really didn't like make some earth shattering, core shaking decision. She said she, checked out a couple of the content creators that were on the list, and then she decided to go with T. And I do feel like, everything happens for a reason, or a lot of things happen for a reason. It was just meant to be. I feel like it was meant to be, and it's all good. And so she said that T was there for her during her dark time when she felt bitter. And at least, he did not judge her. I'm not saying that any of us other content creators would have judged her. I'm sure we would have shown her kindness, but I feel like in that moment, she was able to get what she needed. His channel was a platform for her to sound off, get her feelings out. If you've ever watched Iyanla Van Zant's Fix My Life, when that show was on, and a person, she could see that after they were telling her their story, they are recounting what happened to them that was traumatic. Then they almost stop, and Iyanla will say, give it sound, give it a sound. And I'm telling you, some people, the sound would just be sobbing or crying out or a shout. So T gave her the platform to give it a sound, and Lexi gave it words. Lexi said that at the time during the interview, she was hurt and angry that she never heard from Chris Fletcher after they filmed the dinner scene. I definitely think that that's valid. You know that your daughter was ambushed. I'm sure that you knew allegedly that the plan was to bring up her mom to trigger her. And whatever that producer person whispered in Nell's ear. I'm sure afterwards Nell told you what they said. And you should have checked on her and said, how are you doing? Are you okay? I know that that was a lot for you. I know you don't like people talking about your mother. I wouldn't want that either. But he did not give her that. And I think that that is very jacked up. So I definitely understand Lexi being upset. And, sometimes perhaps people think that they're really doing something if they are not validating or admitting when they've disrespected you or violated your boundary. But when someone has done you wrong, and then you can make that decision whether you continue to put yourself in harm's way or the lion's den, or if you're going to cut them off and not give them your time and your space, because everyone does not deserve your presence, especially if they're just going to be disrespectful. So when matters like this arise, you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to do? You should not self-sabotage or self-betray, all in the name of, because you're blood related to them or their quote unquote family. You may have to develop your own family. And Lexi is very blessed that she has her husband, she has a spouse, and she still has her mom and her dad, her mom's husband as well. So Lexi has other people. So Chris Fletcher and his wife and kids did not leave her as an orphan or anything like that, because she has people. So that's wonderful. And Lexi did say that during the interview, she was nervous and she had wine. That's totally fine, Lexi. I hope you're not beating yourself up over the interview. Again, I feel like at minimum, a lot of things happen for a reason. Sometimes in life, especially traumatic things, it's okay to say, yo, that was jacked up. I did not deserve that. I did not deserve that. That's okay. And then some things, they were meant to happen because they kind of propel you, to another level. So, both exist, right, in life. But she did say that she was nervous. And I remember in college studying journalism, they said that that's quite normal to be nervous. In fact, they said if the nervousness goes away right before you're about to go on stage or speak in front of people, you may like have to do a self review, like check yourself, if this is something that you still want to do, or if something just has changed. But that's quite all right, Lexi, that you were nervous. She complimented T on being prepared. That's great because, and it's not always easy to interview. On the interviewer side, you could be nervous as well. And plus, you are finding time to prepare outside of making your normal content. And now you're also preparing for this interview. I know for me, like I just my comfort level is like writing down the questions, and I want to go through them, still be conversational, but the questions is like an outline, it's like a guide, and that kind of helps you with managing the nervousness. Lexi stated that, with her stating during the interview that Nell was a side chick, she said, Chris was still legally married to Lexi's mom when Nell became pregnant with, I believe, Chris Jr. So that's why she's the side chick. Now, Lexi, during her chapter 6 video, she said, perhaps I could have used another term like the mistress or the other woman. I say, why when it's all the same? They are literally synonyms. So, side chick, other woman, mistress, it all means the same. To me, at least, they all mean the same. Side chick, I guess you could say, would be more urban slang or perhaps a newer term in recent years. But I mean, it all means the same. You're seeing someone who's married, they are unavailable. So I hope Lexi doesn't beat herself up over that as well. And when I watched T's interview, I remember giving my commentary on it. I did not really focus a lot on the comments. So I don't know. It sounds like the feedback that Lexi got was judgmental, and that's why she's doing this chapter 6 video. But at least Lexi is woman enough to do the self check, the self review. I can tell that she took people's judgments and not internalized them to where she feels low about herself, but she's done a self review like, well, did I do that? Did it come off like that? Did I have that intention? I can tell she's asked herself such questions because she's bringing up things that sounds like other people judged her on. Because I didn't even see an issue with her calling Nell a side chick, and it would mean the exact same thing as a mistress or the other woman, at least in my eyes. Lexi said that her husband told her after the dinner scene that if she ever took their kids around Chris Fletcher and his family, that Lexi's husband would serve her with divorce papers. And she says she totally understands her husband's stance. And so do I. That really shows the protector in Lexi's husband, that he wants to protect his kids from that type of trauma, getting yelled at, getting disrespected like their mom. Shut the hell up, Lexi. And then bringing up her mother in a negative way. Lexi's husband doesn't want his kids to experience that type of negativity. So I totally get it. And I don't want anyone to feel like they are on the hook to put up with drama and BS from people who are just your blood relatives. It's not always on you to be the quote unquote bigger person. The person who's being the bully, or they like to front on you and in front of everybody, it's also on them to treat others how they want to be treated in return. It's not just on you. So I don't want anyone to feel like they're on the hook for having to spend time and space with negative people, disrespectful people, because you're not. And don't self betray in the name of being around blood relatives. And let me find my space in my notes. Okay, so Lexi shouted out True T. She said, she was sorry about everything. She gave her regrets in regards to True T losing her channel. I don't know the status on it, and I'm sorry again as well. Hopefully, things will get clarified. I've seen other bloggers lose their channel for a week or two or a few weeks, and then they get it back. And kudos to Melody Cherie for reaching out to Bondi Blue, who I believe reached out to Tasha K. Shout out to Anonymous T, who broke down that story for us. So, but in any event, Lexi is aware. And she said that she was sorry because True T, really got her half sister Kayla together in a video. And Lexi said, I hate that I can't link it in this video because the channel is gone. So we all know that Kayla made a post where she called herself trying to debunk what Lexi was saying to T in his interview with her, where Lexi gives the timeline. She said that her half brother was born in November. She said a woman is pregnant for 40 weeks, which is really 10 months. So if you back out 10 months, that would be conception of January. And I believe Chris and Lexi's mom separated in February, and they were still legally married even as far as April. I remember her mentioning April as well. So in any event, he was dipping out while as a married man. So Kayla allegedly makes a post thinking she's debunking it. And Lexi said, but really her post just validated what I said, and so True T, made fun. She dragged her for like, what was the point of your post? Like, that was so unintelligent. You literally supported everything that Lexi said. So I thought that was so cool for Lexi to reminisce on some of True T's entertaining content. And just chef's kiss, Lexi. I love that so much. I enjoyed that. And Lexi felt like her mom, really made the interview. I remember her mom coming into the view of the camera, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, awesome. And she talked about how when Lexi got married, Lexi really wasn't feeling inviting her bio dad and his family. And Miss Cornelia said, I told her, like, no, you need to invite them. And I made sure that that happened, and I thought that was very mature of her. And some people, and I know you can't please everyone, right? And some people are just, they're going to find some sort of negative thing to say. And I think a lot of people were also applying their own personal dating and marriage experiences with people who have children. And I think that they automatically assumed that Miss Cornelia talked really bad about Chris to Lexi, and that was the basis for Lexi not being close to her dad. But I just felt like, I was like, there's something about this lady. She's not giving that. That's just how I always felt. And I said that in my video, and lots of people disagreed, but that was just how I felt. And I still feel that way. Especially, she even found love again and is still married to him to this day. And Lexi loves him. She calls him her dad and calls Chris Fletcher her bio dad. And not every single blended family situation is going to be the same. It's just not. So I just always felt like, I don't think she was really doing any dirty stuff or filling Lexi's head up with negative stuff about Chris Fletcher. And in fact, once Lexi started her content, we learned that Nell would even let Miss Cornelia take Lance as a toddler. Sometimes she would have Lance and Lexi. Okay. And Lance was a baby that belonged to a woman who allegedly was dating her husband when they were still married. So, I mean, she obviously is a quality person if you would let your kid go with her. But she said, I felt like my mom made the interview. So I thought that was nice. And Chris Fletcher sent Lexi's kids Christmas gifts to Lexi's parents' house because, Chris Fletcher and Lexi, they do not talk. So he did not have any clue where Lexi lived. So he sent the presents to Lexi's parents' home. And Lexi felt like it wasn't sincere. The way I interpreted what she was saying, she said it seemed like he just took a shopping cart, went down an aisle, and just put some stuff in the shopping cart, paid for it, and put it in a box. Like perhaps there wasn't any thought behind it. Like if he knew what his grandkids are into in terms of certain toy lines or things that they enjoy. That's how I interpreted when she said it wasn't sincere and she sent the presents back. We learned this when they did an interview. And, I think she just felt like they sent the Christmas gifts so that they can be able to say, well, we sent the grandkids something. And during the season 6 reunion, Lexi was not mentioned at all. And she said that, she didn't know if perhaps Chris and Nell Fletcher told production, we are not going to answer any questions about Lexi. And I'm guessing that is what took place because or because it's also someone who's not Melody, perhaps they weren't going to make the Fletchers go through any grueling questions or embarrassing questions about how they've treated her. It seemed like only Melody endured that type of abuse and negative treatment. So that could also be why they were never questioned about you. Lexi said that she will reach out to Lance's oldest daughter, April 2026, once she has turned 18. Lexi likes the women that Lance has children with, and she's close with, I believe she said, Lance's second wife. And I thought that that was cool. I know it's like my brother, one of his ex-girlfriends, like I really enjoy her and her family when I do see them. And that's my youngest nephew's mom. So I can relate to like when your siblings, they have an ex-spouse or an ex and you really like them. I can totally relate. And I feel like my sisters, their ex-husbands were at least a couple of them, a few of them were very nice and they were working men, and they continue to be in their children's lives after the divorces. Like I can relate to liking the exes for sure. And she said, her and Lance, she said Lance doesn't care for her. Lexi said that. So she said she's waiting until his oldest daughter turns 18 to reestablish that relationship with her, just because she doesn't want to communicate with her and Lance deems it disrespectful. So I think that that was very smart too, because you have to protect your peace. And if you're at odds with the parent, you just don't want to deal with that drama. So yeah, you can wait until she's 18, Lexi. I think that that is a very smart plan. And Lexi said that she found herself in the comment section of not only T's comment section for the interview, but other content creators' comment section, defending herself. And I'm sorry to hear that, Lexi. I don't want you to ever feel like you have to defend yourself. I would say just like, don't even worry about it. If you do see the comments and someone is saying something really mean about you, that is up to you how you want to handle that, because your channel should still be a safe space, not only for the viewers who are viewing your content, but it should be a safe space for you as well. So if anyone is trying to provoke you to anger or make you feel bad or about something, that's up to you how you want to handle it. You're an adult and it is your content. But definitely, don't worry about what folks say. You just continue to be yourself and make your awesome content. Now, Lexi thought that she and Kiki, meaning Nell Fletcher's niece, she said that she thought they were like kindred spirits because they had both experienced negative treatment from the family. But she says now she realizes that Kiki just really has it out for her. And I think that that's a shame, and sometimes you will find like some people who did experience trauma, they were treated like the black sheep or the oddball out. As soon as they get a little bit of respect and a little bit of acceptance, they will turn on the person who was also treated badly like them. because they've gotten in the clique, just a little bit by their chinny chin chin. So now they think that, I guess, that they're all that, or they're one of them. They're like one of the bullies, and so then they turn on you. And that's really weird energy when you want to be like the bully, or you want to, I guess you don't want to be bullied anymore. So you want to be in their good graces. But yeah, that's a shame. That's too bad. And Lexi said that the negative comments have helped her to get to where she is, her healing journey. And I think that that's awesome. Now, here's something that Lexi is requesting. And she's requesting that some people who have been relating Lexi to Melody's kids to please stop that. She said that she does not want anyone to experience the negative experience that Lexi did with Chris Fletcher's family down in Alabama. So she said, don't even type that out. Don't even try and manifest that for Melody's kids. And this was so interesting to me because I was wondering, because I've never had that thought. My thoughts have never gone in the direction that Lexi's experience with her bio dad and his family are parallel or similar or closely related to Melody's kids. My mind has never gone in that direction. And I consider myself, like when you work in sales, you're taught to be that curious 4-year-old, ask the open-ended questions, find out the emotional side while they're making the purchase, so you can always help them proceed and close the sale. But so I feel like I'm analytical and I think about different scenarios. I have never thought of, oh yeah, Lexi's experience is similar to Melody's kids. I haven't had that, especially because they're still children. They're still growing up. Lexi is an adult, a wife and mom herself, reflecting back and sharing that reflections with us. And it's the scenarios are completely different. So I was surprised that people would even say that, but I understand her not wanting that. She doesn't want anyone else to experience and go through what she's gone through. So hopefully everyone will respect her boundaries. And I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video, as it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. Thank you all so much for checking out this video. I always appreciate the support. I hope that you're having a great weekend so far. I was chilling today. Sometimes you need that day where, like, you don't have the hair appointment, you don't have to be anywhere by a certain time. You can just chill out and watch TV. I finished the show called The Hunting Party. It comes on NBC. I stream it on Peacock. And oh my gosh, so I was even Googling, child. It has not been renewed yet for season 2. Season 1 is 7 episodes. And so I finished it this weekend today. The Hunting Party is about a facility that housed serial unalivers, and the public thought that they were unalived, by like lethal injection or something of that matter. But really, they were being experimented on so that law enforcement could figure out the pathology of people who are serial unalivers. But the public thought that they were already gone. So they were in this facility, and someone blew up the facility because it's a cover up. They wanted something to be covered up. So as a result, these serial unalivers escaped. And they went back out to doing what they do. And then so the FBI has to track them down. It's 3 cops. And so each episode is the name of a serial unaliver. Oh my gosh, the show is suspenseful. It is creepy. It's really, really good. If you can handle it, check it out. The Hunting Party. And it's on Peacock. My girlfriend Jennifer put me on. Excellent recommendation. And this morning when I woke up, I watched a movie with the girl who played the older daughter on My Wife and Kids, Twisted House Sitter. That was good. Tubi pulls you in with the titles alone. Okay. So that was good. I have to watch part two. Part two is with Vivica Fox. And obviously, the other lady is the Twisted House Sitter. And yeah. So, and then I watched Lexi's video, of course. But I hope that you all are having a relaxing Saturday like I have been. I think now I'm gonna like go to the park for the last hour and a half before it's dark outside. The sun is out, it's beautiful. And I will talk with you all soon. Bye.